We on the front lines all the time. When it comes to the topics, related to black people, man, we just got to be on the front line over here. You feel what I'm saying? And so we talking about Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe, you didn't outlive your usefulness, man. You know what I'm saying? He really didn't went in on Carmelo during these times. It's really sad, because you do have we got a lot of peoples out here caping for Austin. You know, they really out here caping for Austin Metcalf and the white America and things of that. Yeah, yeah, Ben Boule. Yeah, we know it. Yeah, I've been knew it my damn self, but I mean, but you can see the nigga is depleted. He look like Bram Stoker now, and I ain't been. The nigga. I say, damn, Joe, nigga, all the melanin then fell out of your face, nigga. What they done did? They must be hooking that nigga up down in the basement and shit, draining that nigga his blood and shit. You know what I'm saying? I said, this he don't even look like he alive. I couldn't trust that nigga might be a clone. That might not he was bootleg, but damn, the nigga had melanin. What happened? I look over there, the man had melanin. You look at his ass today, the nigga gray. He was brown, the nigga gray. He's off white. I say, damn, Joe. They done depleted this nigga of his melanin. So I say, oh no, when you start losing your melanin shit, you start losing your memory and all that shit. Your advanced, intellect. You start to deplete of that. And so I say, yeah, when you start coming out like that, nigga, if you can't support, that's okay. Just shut the fuck up. Just go on about your business. That don't mean you got to be an instrument. You ain't got to side with the enemy. Cause he don't give a fuck. Today it'll be him. Tomorrow it'll be your ass. It don't make no difference. He don't got no favorites. He ain't got no favorites. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't even watch Judge Joe Brown. I never even watched his show when he was out here. You know what I'm saying? I watch a little Judge Mathis and shit, but I watched it for a joke. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch it because I thought the nigga was really rendering any type of justice or anything. This is a fucking comedy show. You know what I'm saying? The fuck you gonna go on Fox and shit and see some damn. You ain't gonna see no goddamn justice being rendered on Fox and CBS and NBC. No, sir. You're not gonna. So all after a while, it just became a joke. Judge Judy and I say, what the fuck is this? But anyway, he took it, upon himself to come out and because he has been a boule judge for so long, he figured he'd come on. They didn't call him up, say, Joe, we need you to come on and cut into this young man, pull him down and tell the world and uplift Austin Metcalf and all that and shit and this, that, and the third. And so man, when they put that call in, and this nigga falling asleep all on the interview. The nigga, I mean, this shit was sad. If you gonna call, motherfucker, stand up, be a man, nigga. You talking about being a punk. You gonna fall all asleep and shit, and the woman asking you questions and shit. You got to call you got to get an interview with that nigga like early in the morning and shit. Not that after 5 o'clock, it's time for his bath and his some hot, some warm milk and put that motherfucker to sleep. Because that man there, yeah, he ain't about, you know what I'm saying? He ain't ready really to stand on nothing. And none of these people's out here ready to stand. It's a few people's out here backing Carmelo though. Because they know what it's about. They know it ain't about no motherfucker. It could have been anybody. You see what I'm saying? It could have been anybody, but today, man, listen here. I done been out here. I done had altercations with white people. You see what I'm saying? But I always come out on top. You understand what I'm saying? Motherfuckers done seen me. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming out on top. That's just all it is to it. I refuse to let the motherfucking Neanderthal disrespect me. It just ain't gonna happen. And so when motherfuckers thought, that they was dealing with that kind of nigga, I let them know. You understand what I'm saying? It's just in my nature to respond in with high dignity. And this ain't motherfucking, I refuse to let what happened to my ancestors happen to me. Refuse to let that happen. And a lot of people is like that. Like take your punk ass on about your business. You know what I'm saying? Take your punk ass on about your business. You're not gonna be talking. I don't give a fuck what you badge or nothing. Motherfucker, get ready to take me on down. I'm ready to go. Cause that's where I'm gonna go. You understand what I'm saying? Cause I ain't about to let no motherfucker talk to me stupid. Where we going? Oh, okay, let's go. You see what I'm saying? Because all that shit that's coming out your mouth, I don't understand the dialect of a fucking caveman. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand that. You know. Yeah. You say, yeah, Ollie, there's not there. There's zero. No, ain't no Neanderthal. It's all, you say you love Judge Joe Brown? Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Because Judge Joe Brown is like, yeah, yeah. Judge Joe Brown is depleted of all his melanin. His fucking they didn't went in there. It remind me of that what they call it, dark crystal, when they was dragging the Muppets down in the basement of that dark castle, and they was down there hooking them up to this damn instrument, and it was sucking the damn energy out of them. And when it sucked the energy out of them, their eyes would be like they fucking they zombies and shit. And it take all the color out their skin and shit. Looked like they done drug his ass down there and hooked his ass up and sucked all the melanin out his goddamn skin. I said, goddamn, Joe, what the fuck happened, Joe? Now they got you nigga out here, you supposed to be in bed, nigga. You supposed to be in bed and shit and getting your Z's. They done got you up. You know you can't have Judge Joe Brown on no interview after 3 p.m. You can't. I'm talking about in the afternoon. After 3 p.m., it's time for that motherfucker to go to bed. How old is Judge Joe Brown? I want to know. How old is Judge Joe Brown? I'm about to find out. How old is Judge Joe Brown? Oh, he's 78. He don't look no 78. Yeah, that motherfucker look like he about 88. That motherfucker I done seen black people 88 years old. Man, they be looking good. At 88. At 88. Man, that nigga, man, let me see. I'm gonna I'm gonna see what that nigga look like. They won't even put up the pictures of what he look like right now. Show me a picture of Judge Joe Brown, how he look right now. What the fuck? That nigga look that nigga look like that vampire on Salem's Lot. What the God damn, Joe. Oh my God. They didn't fuck Joe up. Joe looked like he off of Salem's Lot, man. What the fuck they did to Joe Brown? Oh my God. This nigga went from a brown brother where the motherfucker gray. The nigga gray now, man. Real talk, Joe, you should never come out, man. Cause it all comes out in the rents. Nigga, they wrenched your ass, nigga. It comes out in the rents. When you start hooking up with that Neanderthal frequency, see, you was a brother of the sun, but you didn't side with the sun, Joe. You didn't side with the son. You went into the side of the wickedness. You see, and when you hook up and you not see when you side with wickedness and you don't side with the cosmos. See, when you side with the cosmos, you got all these frequencies, that's electrifying your body, your bones, your skin, your hair. Motherfucker be 100 years old looking good. Joe, it looked like, nigga, all your melanin came out in the rents. Came out in the rents, Joe. You see, this nigga off white. This nigga off white. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, nigga, you what? Man, nigga. Get on, nigga. You need to get. I don't. You might can come back. All you had to do is get back get back in the sun. Get you some elect. You got to get that electricity in your body. And come up off of that negativity, talking against your peoples and shit like that, Joe. You cannot do that. So I don't. I just wanted to, because a lot of people idolize Judge Joe Brown. I don't know why. And he ain't nothing but a TV celebrity. Y'all motherfuckers always, I mean, y'all act like these is really heroes. That like they didn't really, Judge Joe Brown ain't did nothing for no motherfucking body. You understand, but itself. And it don't look like all them years you was on goddamn TV, nigga, you should have put a couple dollars away. Nigga, the kind of money you had, nigga, you supposed to be in the jacuzzi every day, nigga, eating all type of, fruits and vegetables and nigga, the best foods and shit. Nigga, you supposed to be looking good, nigga. What the fuck happened to you, Joe? It's like you been living in the castle, nigga. You know what I'm saying? This nigga come out like, nigga go knock on Judge Joe Brown door, and this nigga come down the stairs like Bram Stoker. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You look up the stairs, and here come Judge Joe Brown coming down the stairs like Bram Stoker. You understand what I'm saying? This nigga come down, his shadow still up the stairs, and he come down the stairs. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that motherfucker Judge Joe Brown ain't shit. Judge Joe Brown ain't shit. Yeah. So anyway, family, I just wanted to touch on Judge Joe Brown, disrespecting the Carmelo and all of that. He should just shut the fuck up, old rusty ass nigga. Sitting up here gonna disrespect you, man, fighting for his life, man. If you ain't gonna, you gonna side with the enemies? God damn, just don't say shit. Go sit your old ass down, nigga. Get you a couple of insurers. Go get you an insurer, motherfucker, and what's them motherfucker? One a day vitamin and an insurer, nigga. And get out there in the sun, nigga, and re-electrify your epidermis, nigga, cause you didn't lost all your melanin. And that show on your mind. Because all of your mental facilities, thank you, family, I appreciate you. It says, sorry, why do you support Carmelo? Why shouldn't I support him? He my brother. Why should I support Austin Metcalf? What kind of shit is that? Y'all done locked up too many of our people. Too many of our people have had trumped up charges thrown on them. Did you know? I'm glad you asked that question right there. Do you know that over 50% of all people's exonerated in the United States for trumped up charges, false convictions have been black people? Did you know that? Who is that? Afro Future. Afro Future. Did you know that? Since 1989, over 53% of all peoples exonerated in the United States for false convictions have spent, some of them have spent over 40 years of their life in jail. Do you know over 53% of all exonerees in the United States are black? And do you know the reason why? Because fake police throw fake evidence. A lot of evidence was suppressed. forced confessions to crimes they didn't commit. Did you know that? So when I hear of a black man, you know what I'm saying, being railroaded, being given 35 years, that's another thing that is a systemic problem with blacks that go through the criminal justice system, is that they are 7 to 8 times more likely to be sentenced to higher sentences than a white counterpart. You see what I'm saying? So yes, that's why I ride with him. You know what I'm saying? At the minimum, even if he stuck him and they gave him manslaughter, but to give him murder one and give him 35 fucking years is a travesty. Is a travesty. But anytime it's something that happens to any one of our people, we got to fight like hell. You see what I'm saying? To get them off, to get justice. I don't give a goddamn if it was Trayvon or some. George Zimmerman killed Trayvon. He didn't even have no weapon. Daniel Penny choked a man out on the subway who never touched him. So how can you give Trayvon Martin, who was attacked, 35 years, but then you let Daniel Penny off for choking a man to death who never touched him? So make that shit make sense to me, man. Make that shit make sense to me. That's just obvious to me. But this shit go on and on and on. But I appreciate you. I wouldn't give a fuck if he stabbed him or not. Even, I don't think he admitted to stabbing nobody, but even if he did, I wouldn't give a fuck. Why would I? Y'all don't give a fuck about none of ours. Why would I? Why would I? See, if justice was fair, black people wouldn't even think like that. If the world knew that the criminal justice system was fair and that people just judge based on, but we know that's not true. You see what I'm saying? We know that's not true. So don't come in here crying no crocodile tears and asking us why we believe the way we believe. Ain't no bigger murderer than the white man. Okay? There is no bigger murderer on the planet than the white man. Okay? Understand that. There's no bigger murderer on the planet than the white man and woman. The two most vicious murderers of all times. There ain't even no competition. Okay? So I'm out of here. Okay? Y'all click that link right down there in my video description, Patreon, and get on over there. Okay? And get that work. Black Power.